Hey, everybody, welcome. Here we go. It is Hanging Left, episode 11. My name is Matt Connerton, and of course, Todd Ayer is here, my partner in crime in this venture. Hello, Todd.
Hey, how you doing?
Very well. And
Well,
Jen Coffee, or I know her as Jenny, of course, is with us as well. Hey,
Hello,
Jenny.
hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the
Uh,
Creative
hey,
Floor.
Jen, welcome to the show.
yeah, this is first one of these we've done in a while. And I know, Todd, you'd said obviously you've been very busy
I
with,
have been,
with
and I did want to apologize to our listeners and our followers. I've been on the campaign trail, and really, I think the other thing that really kind of threw us off, which we're going to talk about in this episode to some extent, is the shutdown and sort of how to handle that. So, being the public affairs person for another campaign, or for a campaign, I should say, congressional campaign, Sarah Chasinski, I had to kind of stop and pivot and really direct things, and in that way, it was a lot of all hands on deck, immediate communication type situations. So unfortunately, I every time I thought I was going to have time to broadcast here with my partner in crime here, Matt, some emergency would come up, as it always does in our world.
yeah, no doubt. Well, it's not like much has been going on anyway. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Obviously, but well, in a sense, for what 41 days, a lot wasn't happening necessarily.
I guess if you're the government, a lot wasn't happening. You're
We
right.
had the longest shutdown in American history. Over, of course, the Democrats digging in about the Obamacare subsidies, and then in the end, yielding really nothing. In my view, I'm not sure how you feel about that part, Todd. I certainly know how Jenny feels. I don't know how you feel about it because we haven't talked about that directly, but to me, it's all pretty disappointing. It's like, well, what was the, you know, I mean, obviously, I agree with extending the Obamacare subsidies, but I have no idea what the point was of this whole exercise with the government shutdown, just to walk away with nothing other than, what did Schumer say? Maybe, possibly, someday, hopefully, we can get the Republicans to give us what we want, even though we all know it's never going to happen. But whatever. I'm Chuck Schumer, and I'm part of the establishment. And
So yeah, I mean, from the, I guess, electorate standpoint, I can certainly see how it would be disappointing, and even from, I wear so many hats. From my activist side of things, it certainly was disappointing. That said, I do think that it brought the issue of healthcare and universal healthcare specifically to the table a lot more. Gave it a lot more media coverage. I do think it was also good that we were able to, except for, I guess, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, the hateful eight. We were able to get a lot of people that weren't so strongly on board with supporting, the more progressive or leftist side of things, and move that needle and move that temperature more in the direction we wanted it to move. So I think that's good, and we got public opinion on our side. So I think those are all wins. Now, do I like that the 8 people, and unfortunately, specifically the two of those people being my own senators here in New Hampshire, folding? No, I don't. I don't think it was the right move. It's not the move I would have made.
yeah,
And it's not the move my candidate would have made. And it's really not the move any of the political candidates that I know of running currently for CD1 would have made. But at the end of the day, I think that I want to kind of celebrate the wins, and the wins are that it's definitely even more so in the forefront. I mean, it always was, but it's more so in the forefront now. I think it spelled out a little more clearly that we have a lot more allies than we do adversaries in this fight. So that's positive. And I think it also called out those that didn't vote. I mean, I think that was important. I mean, it let people know. I mean, even if it was a political move on many of their parts to keep on holding with the shutdown, even if Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries were like, yeah, let's keep doing that because they were getting pressure from the electorate and from activists. At the end of the day, I mean, it was a good thing. It means that, to me, it means we do have power. We do have some sway here. And I think, this is a let's wait and see, because we're probably going to be doing the same song and dance on January. And I think at that moment, right now we're telling people they'll feel pain, but by January they really will feel pain.
True.
So,
Yeah.
I think we'll get even more traction that way. So from a political standpoint, it might even give us, a more of a launching pad. But we'll have to see. I mean, this is not a simple issue. But yeah, I mean, if it was my vote, I would have voted keep it shut down until they move the way we want them to move. And if it was the candidate's vote that I do public affairs for, she would have voted the same. But but I also don't want to make this 100% a bashing session about my candidate's future colleagues and even current colleagues in many respects, because she does activism in Congress. We do have to work with these people. I think it's important to hold them accountable, but at the same time, I think they know what we feel, they know what we think. And I would like to, put a call out to them and say, okay, fine. If I am to give you the benefit of the doubt, then let's do some town halls and let's do some open forums where you don't have to be heckled. As a matter of fact, people will actually, you're there to talk about the subject, because this is near and dear to a lot of people's hearts.
Well, we do have a video to play about Jenny. Did you want to comment on any of that before we go to the video?
Respectfully, I couldn't disagree with you more. We've won absolutely nothing. We've gained absolutely nothing. There's no wins out of this mess. There are going to be thousands of people who are going to die. Yes, we're going to face another shutdown in January, but that has nothing to do with the fact that millions of people are going to lose their health insurance come January 1st because they can no longer afford to have it. And that the people who are supposed to be fighting for us chose to literally give up. They did the same thing during the budget fight. When it was the budget fight and they had some actual meat, they had some power to fight back for us, to stop the cuts to Medicare, to stop the cuts to Medicaid, to stop the cuts to all of this, to fight back. They caved. They gave in. They voted for a tremendously horrible budget that is literally killing people, has killed people, is killing people, and will kill countless more. The hateful or whatever pretty nickname we want to give them, I don't care about nicknames.
Right.
I know that my senators didn't listen to the people who filled up their voicemail. Senator Shaheen's voicemail was full. People couldn't leave messages. Why do I know that? Because we were all calling. Senator Hassan, they did not listen to us when we begged them. Don't give up on this one thing. Never has it happened. And go back and look. All these threats of shutdowns and whatnot. It's not been the Democratic side saying, shut it down. It's been, don't do that until now. Until we reach such the pinnacle point in our history right now, where the country has literally been raped of the safety nets that save people's lives. And to further that damage, these same people who are already suffering will now go without health care next year. Children will go without chemo. Women will go without breast centers. People will go without their insulin. I know somebody who's rationed their insulin and talked to me about it. Oh, $35 a bottle. Well, if you need 7 a month, and you can't afford that.
Right. No, and Jenny, no one's.
And now we've exacerbated this, and it's going to get potentially worse. And I would like one person to tell me what piece of leverage you've got left to give people back the health care that they're going to need to live. Because from where I sit, there's nothing left.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, I understand that sentiment. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is that, it was, other than those two senators, and I by no means give them a pass. As a matter of fact, I called them out on my Facebook.
Yeah.
And I think they should be called out. But my only point that I was trying to make, and I don't know if it came across, is that, yes, it's kind of like what I say when I say the we hate Trump stuff, right? So like, yes, everybody hates Trump. We all agree on that, right? So let's move on and get rid of him and try to find solutions to do what it is we need to do rather than just spend our days Trump bashing. So
Right.
that,
I'm not doing that.
no, I'm not saying
doing
that, Jenny.
at all.
I am not saying that at all, Jenny.
No,
not.
This is about bashing them. This is about what's literally
I agree with
reality
you.
in this moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I understand, and I hear your passion, and I hear the emotion in your voice, and I know this is like a serious personal emotional issue. That's why I wanted to have you on today. I think that's important. It's an
Forgive
important
me, but
narrative
this
to
is
tell.
not emotion. This is my lifetime.
Right.
I was first given a citation when I was 17 years old from the Massachusetts House of Representatives for trying to save lives. That's all I've done for my lifetime, my 50 some odd years on this
Absolutely.
planet.
And
It's not about emotion. It's about dealing with the hard, cold facts of reality of the situation that we are in, and that we have now given up the only leverage we had to save lives, and we can't get that back unless a miracle occurs.
So
all
I don't.
we got was a guaranteed vote in the Senate, a vote. Not that there'd be a matching vote in the House, not that Trump would sign it. There was no guarantee of anything outside of the Senate saying, we'll give you a vote. And that was enough to get 8 senators to sell out our lives. And our lives are worth more. This is not emotion. This is the reality of the fact that the decisions that have been made at this point are going to cost thousands and thousands of lives and countless years of suffering for individuals who pay every day into this system with their hard-earned tax dollars. Those Medicare tax dollars that are now going to the insurance companies while they sit there and go, oh, we got to cut waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare. You see what I'm saying here? This reality that we're living in is beyond anything we've ever faced before. Politics as usual is out the window.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that, I guess my point was, you have to take inventory of where you are on that game board. So people like, politicians are in a different slot, in a different place than someone like yourself, like an activist or just an electorate that is affected personally by this. And the game we have to play, whether it's great or not, and I don't think it's a great game, but the game that we have to play to make sure that we're not shut out is we do have to even listen to the voices we don't want to listen to. And it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I can't.
We have to be pragmatic.
We've got to talk to the other side and reach them where they're at.
No, and I don't mean the other side. I mean within our group. I'm saying, like, I have to. So right on my side, I have to try to do something to encourage them to sit at the table and see my side, right? Because if all I do is call them out, I think that's great. I mean, I
think we've seen that in droves as of lately. Go to any 50-51 protest, you'll see every other group there.
Absolutely.
I personally have been involved in countless training sessions and gathering sessions with so many organizations across this country. I'm proud of the fact that I am seeing People's Action and Popular Democracy and Indivisible and 50-51 and all of these, my own organization, Right to Democracy, all working together in a way that they have not done before.
Right.
But I'm going further than that, in that we are going to get nowhere if we do not talk to the other side. We have to.
Oh, absolutely. But
we get nothing.
So I look at it this way.
Bree is a perfect example. We can have a conversation with her over healthcare.
Right.
We didn't think we could, but we know we've got common
absolutely.
Ground. We can reach her where she's at over her children, just like we might be able to reach your neighbor who is a diehard Republican because they're watching their grandmother going through this, or they're watching their other loved one go through. People are reachable in healthcare in a way that they're not
absolutely
in other areas.
Which is why it's, one of the reasons, I mean, one of the main issues is that it's a serious issue and it needs to be dealt with. But that's also why it's, from the standpoint of moving the temperature and moving the needle, it works. I mean, it is something that's universal. Universal healthcare literally is a universal issue. It affects you whether you are Republican, Democrat, whatever. It affects you if you're black or brown. It affects you if you're gay or straight. Healthcare is healthcare. We all need healthcare. So
the only thing about that I would add to your comment is this: those decision makers, those senators, oh no, their healthcare is not healthcare as healthcare.
Yeah, they're
Their
not worried.
healthcare is Cadillac coverage healthcare that they get for the rest of their lives. Tell me another job you only put 6 years in and you get guaranteed Cadillac healthcare for the rest of your lives. Every senator and every Congress critter should be on Medicare. Period. End of discussion. You make Medicare the best for everybody and you be on the same policy. But that's not what we're dealing with. We're dealing with millionaires. Many of these people in the Senate, in the House, are millionaires. They don't live in the same world we live in. They don't operate in our world. They don't give a shit about having a copay. What do they care about $75 copay to see a specialist? They make over $100,000 a year, $200,000, $300,000 a year. But for you and me, $75 for a specialist, it's half a week's groceries, or these days, maybe 2 days. Last time I went grocery shopping, I walked out with one package of meat and I spent over $200 and I was trying to fix the entire way home. And I didn't even buy like cat food or anything like that.
So
their
I
world
mean,
is so drastically different than ours. And when they make decisions like this and we don't call them out for it.
absolutely. And I think, but
They
what
get
I
away
guess
with it.
maybe I should clarify. So I personally am in a position where basically, like, this fight to me is a fight that is going to help all of us, but I am not fighting personally for my own personal situation, nor my family's personal situation. I mean, I am in a position where I still do have healthcare, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there are people out there that are in positions that still have healthcare, that still are in a socioeconomic status, quite a few actually, that are angry and want this moved over. And so what I'm saying is, let's all at least stick with, I think, you know, it's dangerous to start making enemies of literally everyone other than quote unquote the workers, you know, because you need some of these people in management, you need some of these people in leadership, you need some of these people that are decision makers to get on our side.
What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by that?
When you say that, what do you mean by that? Or what are you disagreeing with in regards to how
No, I think that, so what I mean, okay, I'll explain. So what I mean, Jenny, is that I myself, for instance, like, I have a direct, like, connection to Pappas, Goodlander, you know, so in that way, I guess I'm luckier than most, right? Like, I can go talk to these people in person and they will listen to me. So, you know, I had a conversation with them personally about the healthcare situation, and they did vote. I'm not going to sit here and say it was just because of me. I mean, there were many of us that had that. So, you know, it's not that I'm like exactly at their level, but I have a little, at least I have their ear.
in
So
these conversations that you've had, for example, with Pappas, what are those conversations got in regards, for say, example, Medicare Advantage?
So right now, he's moving to this direction. Like, but unfortunately, he has to be with the other people. And again, I don't work for Pappas, so I'm not here
I can't tell you the countless numbers of people that have been flown to DC just so they can be at his office and speak to his people, or to Hassan's or to Shahid's. People come from all across the country and they travel to DC begging their legislators to listen to them. When their legislators answer that with a form letter that gives a generic answer of their solid support for Medicare Advantage, after a slew of people have gone in there and said, this is the harm that's happening to us, should we still try to be friends, or should we call them out on that?
No, absolutely.
Say, hey, this isn't okay.
So again, what I'm trying to say is, like, for instance, if the place you're in and who you are and what your position is matters on how you handle it. So if someone like myself, or even people like, you know, people that are running for Congress in the Senate right now, if those people, it's about sort of like your equity, right? And you have your reputational equity, and you have this like equity and ability to move the needle, your power equity, basically. So if I take my power equity and leverage all of it to do something like call these people out and embarrass them publicly, then there's a risk that I am then locked out, right? And so then I lose my influence power. So I think that, but someone like yourself, You're an activist. That's what you should be
Well,
doing.
not
So
just an activist. I'm also a former state representative, and I served for years.
Right.
I was vice chair of commerce. And I'll tell you, I think one of the greatest compliments I ever got was from an organization that I fought tooth and nail against on one bill, supported a different piece of legislation that they were backing, and they actually gave me a donation for my reelection.
which is
I think
awesome.
there's a level of respect that
Right.
goes with
Correct.
not just glad handing a representative or senator and saying, geez, thank you for being my friend. Let me have a conversation
So
with
that's not
you,"
what I'm saying at all.
and not negative and not have that negative conversation and say, look, at really not happy with what you just did. And if
Absolutely.
they're not willing to give us a town hall, then we call them out in another. And we
Yes,
call them out
I agree with
publicly.
you.
But
I
we
agree
have-
with you.
You know, these are the
All right. Let me get in here for a second, because I think what you're really talking about, and you're talking past each other a bit.
Yeah,
'Cause
I'm
I
not
think-
trying to. I'm trying to get that point out. I don't
No, I
necessarily know
know.
if my point came across.
I know, but I think what you're really talking about is there's a balance between, on the one hand, you need these people, you need to be able to talk with them, and you need to be able to convince them to do what we need them to do. And you have
Exactly.
to balance that with, on the other side of it, you also have to hold them accountable when
Right.
they're not doing what we need them to do. We need to
Absolutely.
hold them accountable
100%.
and call them out for not doing what we need them to do.
100%.
So it's a balancing act. How
Correct.
do you,
100%.
and this is constantly the question in politics
Right.
and in life in general, in many cases,
Absolutely.
right? How do you get what you want? You need to figure out a way to convince
Correct.
people to do what you need them to do.
So right.
But how do you find that balance between trying to convince them, you know,
Right, and
and
different-
get them on
and
board?
And the
Let me
other
just
problem
oh my
is-
God, let me just finish this
Sorry,
thought.
sorry.
How-
Yeah, go ahead.
how
Yeah,
do-
go.
you
Go.
both have talked a lot. How do you find that balance between convincing them, respectfully? Sometimes you have to be respectful to convince them, but you also sometimes maybe you do need to publicly shame people when they let you down, when they disappoint you, when they're behaving in a way that's obvious that they're just beholden to the special interests and the donors and all of that, which we know goes on and on both sides of the aisle. So it's about finding that balance. I think
It is. It really
where we're
is.
getting to.
And I haven't said anything about shaming our senators in this
Right.
conversation.
No, but the video.
No, we know that.
But
Yeah, but the
like,
video we're gonna play goes to that.
as a constituent, I personally would like to call for town halls so we can have
100% on board with that.
discussions. And if anybody isn't willing to do a town hall, well, then we go and we figure out another way to approach them. But I personally would like to see all four of all four of them, both senators for the state of New Hampshire, both congresspersons for the state of New Hampshire, hold town halls after all the turmoil that has gone on, the budget, the shutdown,
Right.
all of it. Come home, host multiple town halls. Let us, the people, come and talk to you. Have a conversation with us. We've all seen the good town halls where
Right.
they're walking around and they're talking to people and they're
Right.
having that conversation. That's what I want from them.
And that's what we want too.
In the
That's what
minimum.
most of us want. So my only point was, however, we have to be strategic about it, right? So like if I am the person, let's say my candidate, Sarah, like if she was the person that called out Shaheen, right? She has the ability to walk into any congressional office, any Senate office and talk to these people right now. But if she chose to be the one to because it basically was like an embarrassment, I'm sure. If she chose to use her equity to embarrass her instead, there's a good chance that if Sarah picked up the phone and said, hey, I want a town hall, she'd be like, have
That's the
someone call me
balance.
that's serious.
That's the
You know?
balance. That's where the
Right.
balance
And it
comes in,
also-
right?
Exactly. And that also depends on the perspective of where we each have
Correct.
our roles to play in this. in
Right,
this game.
right. That's what I'm
And
trying to say.
there's
We
the
all have
role
roles.
of what your, forgive me, but what your headspace is going to be in for a campaign to get somebody elected is not ever going to be the same headspace that mine's going to be
That's true.
when my world is 100% nothing but trying to help people get the healthcare they need to live.
You have
Period.
different roles in this.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I think what we should do though, because I think it might be confusing to other people, is let's show the video about.
Yeah,
and then we
I
can
was going to
talk-
say that. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
where you're going is further than where I was going. We weren't talking about the specific moment.
Ah,
and
got it.
Let's talk about the specific moment and show
Sure.
people what we're talking about and
Sure.
go from there.
Let's go for
All
that.
right, all right. Let me click this here. Let's see. Should
Let
play.
me be clear. Nobody wants to extend.
Hang on. Let me start that over. I'm going to boost the volume on that. It's a little low.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah. I'm glad that it's got typesetting. Good.
Nobody wants to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits more than me or more than Senator Hassan.
Then why did you vote for it?
You look at our record and you tell me what you've done to protect the health care of Americans, and it's not even close to what we've done. I'm gonna leave.
All right.
Okay. Now, there's two things to talk about here: the heckler and her response. And I want to make that really clear.
Absolutely. So,
We've got differing opinions on both.
okay. So, who wants to go first?
I think there's something wonderfully democratic about heckling a politician. I
And let's
support
also
that.
state the person that heckled is a sitting state representative. So we don't know. Did this state representative try and get a straight answer before this day? I don't know.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna pass 100% judgment on him just yet because of that.
No, I'm not either.
But here's where my issue is with however it happened, whatever got said to her. Here's my problem. Here's why I'm upset. Here's why I'm actually kind of angry. How dare you sit there and go, oh, do you see how I've done, how much I've done as a senator, how much Hassan's done as a senator? Really?
That was a little over
Can
the top on.
Yeah,
mirror
no, so-
can you mirror my experience of 20 years of working in medicine, of putting an IV on somebody in the side of the road with a cop holding a flashlight over your head, trying to save their life? Can you replace my lifetime of advocacy, of starting endometriosis support group sessions, of standing up for rights, of helping people fight their insurance companies, being in the damn trenches? Okay,
Right.
You are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to go up there and represent the people. Now, this I'll get a little emotional about. And your response is to get angry and try and one up somebody about how many years in the Senate you've done and how many bills you've tried to push. That is not saving lives.
Yeah, her response
That's
wasn't great.
not
Yeah, absolutely. So, I want to go on.
Amy's response was 100% unacceptable, and I feel like she's tone deaf.
I think
to
she was
what's
being
going
defensive.
on at home.
She was
So
being
here's the thing.
defensive.
We're on the page with that one. Let me tell you, two things. Number one, I think that her response was, very inappropriate. I think it was deflection.
Yes.
I also think that, we always hear this crap about, well, do you hold me to a high standard? Actually, I do. You're a senator.
Mhm.
So as a senator, as a leader, right, then you should be able to have someone, I don't care who they are, you should be able to have someone heckle you, and you should be trained enough to come back with a professional response and
Mhm.
also legitimately address that problem and acknowledge that problem and validate that problem, as opposed to worry more about how that may or may not have made you look, as far as your reputation, or, maybe it added guilt, maybe it's emotional, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, much like I was talking about the whole role thing, her role is to be a lot more calm and a lot more open and frankly serving of the electorate that she's been elected to serve. So her
Right.
role is not to argue. Her
Right.
role is to listen.
Yeah.
And so, but
Let me tell you why. Like it or not, if she had simply said, well, let me tell you why, and then
correct.
gave a couple of
Yeah.
sentences, like what she said or not, gave a couple of sentences and then go back to your remarks. But to attack them back,
Yeah.
Right.
angry and
I agree with you. I agree with you.
self-serving, yeah.
And here's the problem, though. This is the only problem. This is why, as Matt will tell you, I tend to look at things very Machiavellian, right? So in this sort of like the ends justify the means. So the ends didn't justify the means in this case, or in my opinion, the the person that did that, I guess you have to look at who your audience is, right? And in my opinion, she's not even up for re-election. So honestly,
True.
and even her response was basically dismissive. So
Yeah.
she frankly didn't care what he had to say.
I have a theory.
So I almost feel like if you're going to do that, make sure the person you're doing that with can actually move the needle, because she could care less. I mean, she almost like dismissed it and was more concerned with her whatever reputational equity, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was. I mean, and I'll tell you this for the record, I was at that event and I did not stand up and I did not clap for her. So that's what I mean by, but see what I'm saying? Like, when you are invited to those events, those are not events that just open up to the public, right? So I do think I owe it to my public and to people, to my stakeholders, to not yell out so that I don't get invited back to those things. Because we need people inside the tent. You know what I mean? Like,
that's why when we do that in the world of activism, when we intentionally try to, I can't remember the word for it now. Bird dog, thank you. When we're
bird dog,
trying to bird dog somebody,
yes,
it's done strategically, and there are certain people that do it, and certain people that don't do it.
Correct, absolutely.
And you're right. That wasn't the venue to do it. Absolutely was the total wrong venue in that moment. It's a big kumbaya event. It's not going to go over well, especially if you're just a single soul trying to pull that off. Now, if they were organized and there was people there with banners or something,
yes,
saying, calling it out,
we're
calling you out for your budget vote, and we're calling you out for this CR too. You're not standing, because this is where as a constituent, this is where I'm at, is I'm looking at this year and going, where the hell are you? I need you to be a pit bull, and you're being a poodle.
I agree with you. No, absolutely. So, it's one of two things. I mean, I guess in my opinion, it's like, I'm not saying, hey, look, I started activism. I am an activist first and foremost. I started, especially in the HIV/AIDS movement. I mean, I've done die-ins in the street and blocked traffic. So I'm not saying there isn't a point to them and there isn't a value. I 150% support activism. But like you said, I think it should be strategic and planned. And, like, if you are going to disrupt the right things. Disrupt what's going to get you the attention you want to get. Disrupt what could move the needle. Do those things. I think that's really what matters. And I also think, like you said, you got to pick who does it. Because there are some people that I don't want to waste the collateral I have. Like let's say Pappas was 100% on board, right? I wouldn't be like, hey, Pappas, you go out there and you be the one that yells and screams and change yourself to a gay, because I'd lose him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I think one thing I just want to say about Shaheen's reaction too is I suspect, just thinking about it on a human level, and I don't mean this out of any kind of sympathy for her.
Right. No, I know that.
But I do think that she's probably feeling her reaction was her reaction was emotional, and I think it was probably driven by the 8 who voted to reopen the government. They're all taking a lot of criticism. And I'm not saying it's not deserved. I'm just saying,
that was their vote. Stand by your vote.
In that moment, she was probably buckling. In that moment, she was probably buckling under the weight of that, and it just came out like.
But what's so funny is that after that, and we don't see this, but after that, Hassan spoke, and she did a much better job.
Really?
Like, much better. She even, like, I'm not going to quite, because they never do it 100%. And do I think they could do it 100%? Yes, they could come out and apologize. I absolutely think there's nothing wrong. And I think especially in this day and age, when you're wrong, you're wrong. Admit you were wrong. Admit it wasn't the best decision. People will forgive that, to be honest, if you then turn around and do something.
Yeah. Wouldn't you have like so much more respect I have way more respect for somebody in politics who will, because I've done it myself, but
we all have.
I was wrong on that issue.
Yep.
Yeah.
And thanks for teaching me that, or thanks for telling me that. And
this could have been a learning moment.
Especially the bigger the office, the less of that you see. And really, I want to see more of that.
Me too. 100%. I agree.
I'm glad green has been a little refreshing lately. Not that I'm going to suddenly be a big fan of greens, but it's been refreshing lately to see her come out and go, I was wrong to have voted for that.
Yeah. As a public affairs person, I guess I'll have to respectfully agree to disagree. Like, I know she's a propagandist. She's doing it for propaganda reasons. I don't trust her. Yeah, she is up for re-election. So, and honestly, if I were her, kudos for her on a political move because, you know,
That's the one to
Cankles,
take the jump on.
right,
Oh, yeah.
right, because
Definitely the right issue.
you know, because Crumpster Fire Cankles here is falling apart at the seams, and people are not gonna like, you know, there's got to be someone, or what are they going to do? Just like, oh, okay, Trump's done. That's it. The Republican Party's gone
We'll
now.
see what happens with the Epstein vote next week because
Right.
I am really waiting to see what happens.
Correct.
Yeah.
So she's smart. I think the fools are the ones that are still on his ship. I mean, that ship is sinking like horribly. I mean,
Somebody
it's like,
said it. I don't know which one of them did it. I don't know if it was a senator or a congressman, but one of them said, you know, Trump's going to be gone, but this vote's going to be on your record for the
Tony
rest
Massey
of
said
your.
that.
Is that
Sure.
who it was? Yeah.
absolutely. I
Your
totally
life,
agree with
people
that.
are going to hold you accountable for how you voted
Yeah.
on whether or not to release the Epstein files.
Right. But
Yeah.
here's the other thing, though, too, is that I have to, again, this goes back to your role, right? But my role, I can't honestly afford to extend too much of an olive branch to someone like Green
Right.
because she
Oh.
votes so wrong on so many other things.
Oh,
And
of
so
course,
I have to look at the
ideologically,
big
yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
That's
And
when you reach them where they are at on
Right,
the issue.
right.
Yeah.
And like the greatest work I was ever involved in the House was the bipartisan work. I actually got to prime some bipartisan legislation.
Right.
And that was the most fun. And it was the best legislation to do. I actually had unanimous votes in both chambers and signed by the governor on 2 bills, bipartisan, while
Yep.
the first one being in the minority, mind you.
Sure.
So I want to see more of that. And with Green at least opening this door, okay, we know she's approachable now, more on healthcare, more
Right.
on those issues. She's
For
going to
sure.
listen at her door
Right.
to us a little bit more. And for other ones, we're going to, well, we see where they're at.
Right. And even if it is
whatever
strategic,
capital I have, I'm not going to waste it on the worst one.
no, I agree with you.
And spend it on the ones I might flip.
Right.
away.
I agree with you. And even if it is strategic, even if like Green is, again, back to the Machiavellian thing, the ends justify the means. Even if Green is like doing it for her own self-interest, I agree with you. Let's use it. Let's use it to our advantage. Let's get things done the way we need to get done. But,
Yeah.
you know, let's do what we need to do.
Oh, sorry, Matt.
I was just gonna say she might actually be sincere about
On the healthcare thing. Yeah.
I
No,
think
and
she is,
I don't doubt
actually.
that.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
really
she probably
think she
is.
on the healthcare issue. I don't think that she saw it for what it was until it happened to her own daughters. And
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Oh, did it?
unfortunately in life, yes,
Yep.
that's why. It's her own daughters that are seeing their premiums change that got her attention.
Okay.
And that's something that we see often in healthcare. And
Right.
I said, and it happened to me. I didn't know what the world of disability was like until it was me.
Yeah.
Of
I
course,
didn't
yeah,
know what
that's
Medicare Advantage was
makes
until
sense.
it was me, right? So I
Right.
learned the hard way.
sure.
And when I was a legislator, there were votes that I would have absolutely taken back in this moment because I learned the hard way. My votes were wrong.
That is true, and people can change, and I do agree with
Yeah.
that. And obviously, you know, my lens is a little bit clouded right now. You know,
Right.
I mean, we'll see where things go. Right? I mean, I do believe, and you know, my candidate Sarah feels the same way. There are still plenty of good Republicans. You know, there probably are some still currently in their positions.
Yeah.
Well, when I mean that, I mean like, you know, people currently that have stepped out, like Kinzinger and stuff like that. Like Kinzinger,
Yeah.
like I would work with him all day long.
Oh,
He's a
Adam
great-
Kinzinger. Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
big fan actually of. Yeah.
I mean, I respect him more than I respect Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, frankly.
Me too. Me too. To be
Seriously.
honest.
So we need to
Yeah.
replace both of them.
So
They need
I
to be
think
eliminated their leadership roles. Like
so.
you get
My
to
goal,
leadership
my
and
goal,
go-
just as my goal, just as much as it is to like win for. I don't want to just win for any Democrats, right? I want to win for Democrats. I would almost say like we happen to be Democrats because right now it's the place that kind of it fits and it
Yep.
works the system. But
Yep.
honestly, in many ways, you know, I'm very much an independent, and I am still at the end of the day an
Me too.
activist first, and I'm
Yeah.
never going to support anyone regardless of what their
Well,
party
my
is.
primary vote is very special to me.
Correct.
And I
correct.
am going to voice my opinions with my primary vote. And I will
Absolutely,
tell
and we
you
all
flat
should.
out that I am not voting for Pappas. I
Right.
will not vote for him because he will not listen on the healthcare issues that I have brought to his office, pounded on his door, left
Yep.
messages, and I get a form letter.
Yeah.
And it absolutely addressed not one thing, not one shred
Right.
of information that I. So for in the primary, I am picking a different candidate. I actually have already picked my candidate.
And
I'm
that's
voting for
wonderful.
Charisma.
And And honestly,
and we'll see where it goes from there.
and let me tell you,
Yeah.
I thank you for that, because that helps out, right? Because like I can't go to Pappas and be like, hey,
That's not your role.
right. But I'm saying I can't go to him and say like, hey, people are really upset if there aren't people that are really upset. Like if I just go to him and go, oh, I think you should change this, he'll be like, yeah, okay, nice. Like, I mean, because
Right.
I don't even necessarily know if I'm speaking for him. I don't necessarily
Right.
know if he'd say that, but you know what I mean? Like it's the reason why, that's why we all have to work together. So I think at the end of the day, this is about building coalitions.
Mhm.
Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
this is about, and I'm all about internal coalitions too. We focus all the time about reaching across the aisle. I think, and this is what Cory Booker said, he was at that event and he spoke, and he changed my opinion even of him, because what he said basically was like, I understand why people are angry about people's votes and things like that. But in many cases, I've been able to vote with these people, and, whether it's like other Democrats, Republicans, people that had different views, and get them to support things I supported, because we had a conversation and we sat down and we had a dialogue.
Mhm.
And in situations where I just shut them out and I get angry, he's like, we've all been angry, whatever. And I'm human. And I've done it. I admit it. I've gotten angry at people and said, forget this. I'm not going to talk to them. He's like, I never got anywhere that way. And so I guess that's what I'm saying is like,
Yeah. And again, we feel like a broken record, but we have to reach people where they are at.
absolutely.
Wherever it is that you are, regardless of what's after your name, whether it's a D, an R, an I, or whatever,
Yeah.
wherever it is that you are at, where I can connect to you is where I can reach you. And then we can
Absolutely.
go from there. It's not not about D's or R's or whatever. It is about coalition. And it's about grassroots coalitions. It's the people getting up that are going to make the difference. It's the people that have been coming out and protesting that never protested before. The last protest I was at, I saw and spoke to more older veterans than I have ever seen at a protest like that in my lifetime.
Right. Absolutely.
In this regard, people are coming out that have never come out before.
Right.
And I'm talking to people who are telling me I've never done a protest before.
Right. Right.
People are.
Yeah, I get that all the time too.
Feeling this, right? So yeah, it's important that people.
It's super important.
People like you that have that channel.
Yeah.
You can go back and say, look I'm hearing people say they're not going to vote for you in the primary.
Correct.
Really upset about this
and that's what I've done. That's literally what I've done.
Right.
And we did it specifically on the LGBTQ issues because one of the positions I'm in is I'm the political advocate for, or it's called the political advocate chair or political activism chair for HRC New England. And I said, I understand, we did this with Pappas. I was like, I understand you got the national vote. They gave you their endorsement and all of that. I'm like, and I'm not saying whether you do or you don't deserve it. But what I am saying is that initially the plan was that I said, I want to let you know, you don't get a free pass with that because here in New England, we all were actually going to hold that endorsement if it was up to us. And it's not because I don't like you, but we were going to hold it as collateral and as a temperature check to see what it is you do. I said, because I'll be honest, like I like you as a person, but the way you voted on trans things of this nature are not okay. It's not satisfactory. And I think especially as a gay man in power, like we do have a voice that these people don't have. And we owe it to that community, all 100%. Members of our community, to stand up, 100%. Especially our most marginalized, and stand up and fight for them.
The closer you are to that table, the more responsibility you have to speak up for those who can't even walk through.
Correct. And it's a win-win for everybody. I've never, ever, ever gotten in trouble for helping someone or supporting someone. I have gotten in trouble for, at least burn to bridge anyway, for like creating divisiveness.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, there's a time and place for it. And I like to, the other thing I think that's very interesting, I like to call it sort of like the, oh God, what is the term I want to use? But like all like platforms almost have this like organic sort of cycle that they go through. So it's like the cycle of activism. So like to me, it's like in the beginning, like when I was doing the HIV/AIDS stuff, when 0 people were listening, it was important to dye the fountains red, do the die-ins, do all these things, and constantly do it.
Yeah.
Because we weren't getting anywhere. Even we weren't getting anywhere with being polite. So we
Yeah.
had to like disrupt some shit to get people
Yeah.
to listen.
Yeah.
But once I got people to sit down at the table, I didn't waste that seat screaming at them the whole time. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
True,
That's
but
right.
when you're talking healthcare here again, like
yeah, I get it.
in the protests we've done in DC, things have been ramped up as of late. Obviously, on
I think that's wonderful.
we've done die-ins, we've done banner drops,
Yep.
we've done those things. We've sat and talked to them, and then they don't go and they go and vote against us. Then what do? We got to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
We have to let them know that look at we're not okay with your vote. Not only am I not okay with your vote,
Right.
I expect those 8, especially R2, and
Well, yeah, they personally, it's a
Christine,
person. Right.
who is all over the news nationally saying she was leading this charge. Well,
Right.
then I expect you to lead this charge
Right.
with a clean bill that extends the tax credits for Americans
Absolutely.
for a minimum of 1 year. Minimum. Just
Yeah,
a minimum.
absolutely. No, I agree.
I'd
I
like
agree
us
100%.
to give us more time to work on the issue overall. But just that, because you remember these guys, it's got to be a clean CR. You can't vote unless it's a clean CR. And then they vote, and it's got a ban on all hemp THC products, and it's got a windfall of money for senators.
Oh, of course.
For senators, they're getting more money out of the clean CR. So bullshit. There was no clean CR. You voted for this piece of crap. It's
Yeah.
going to kill people unless you do something. So, God damn it, get up, Pappas. Get up, Shaheen. Get up, all of you. I don't give a shit which way you went. Get up, all of you. Join together. Get your Republican colleagues.
I agree with you.
Green,
Yeah.
who are on it. Put that bipartisan clean bill in that says extend these tax credits and then put it on a roll call and let's get this puppy done. And if it doesn't get done, which I suspect it might not, it will be the fault of the Republicans who killed it.
Absolutely. No, I agree with
They're
you.
not going to be the other side voting against it.
So
It'll
I
be
guess that's
Republicans.
right.
So unless we peel, and I think there's a possibility that we could peel off enough to potentially get something like that through. It is
No, I agree with you. I do agree with you. Yeah.
But they need to lead the charge. They need to do more than come home and glad hand us. Give me a town.
Oh, absolutely.
Up
100%.
there like a damn bull in a china shop and stop breaking some shit until we get our health care.
Absolutely.
I
That's why
think
they're there.
I think this is going to be a case of short-term pain but long-term gain. I think
Right.
I'm not optimistic anything's going to get done in the short term, and premiums are going to skyrocket. But the long-term gain will be that pain is going to bring, and we know obviously, Democrats are going to pick up because this is just how it goes with the ebb and flow of it. In the midterms, Democrats are going to win big. And I think the more pain that there is, the bigger Democrats are going to win in the midterms. So that's how I see this playing out.
No, absolutely. And I do think that, that is the reality. And, I'm not saying that is the argument supposedly that they went with. Like, and so I do want to get clear though, that there is some truth to the argument. I'm not saying I agree with the argument because, like I said many times, and everybody I know, including Pappas and Goodlander, voted no on opening the government again. So everybody I know and everybody I've helped get in office did what they should do. So in that respect, other than my senators,
on this vote,
right, absolutely. Well,
I wouldn't claim that title blanketly.
No, of course not.
But on this vote, yeah.
But I have no, of course not. Absolutely not. But it's each vote. It's on this one.
I was just trying to bring some levity.
No, I get it. But where was I going with this? Yeah, so what you're asking for, I think is very reasonable. I think town halls, that's a great idea. I think all these things are great. But we also have to.
But will they?
What? I mean, some of them do it already. I mean, at least Goodlander does. I know she will do town halls.
Okay.
I know.
I don't know as much about her because she's not my district.
Right. Well, she is mine, and I have to say, I'm happy I supported her. Like, she's doing a good job.
Good.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm very glad.
So I guess that's why I have hope. I mean, and it is interesting. And this is the other thing I think that's really good in this moment. as activists, as whatever, as like people that are in politics but not inside the politics of it, we do have the power to shape the movement and move things in the direction we want them to move. And we can, in some ways, which is very interesting. I'm seeing this with Goodlander. It seems like we're seeing this with Pappas to some extent, although I'm a little more hesitant because his track record isn't as great, but it's possible still, right? And I'm going to sell, and I am going to like give him credit when he does something good, because let's face it, people like,
No, yeah, absolutely.
you know, people like to get gold stars.
Yeah.
But anyway,
He voted right on this one.
like I'm going to play on the, you know, their we all have, it's all our psychology, right? We like to get applause. So,
Yeah.
you know, but I agree with you. I think that in this moment though, it's not a bottom down. It's a bottom up mentality, right? Like we do have the ability, because some of them, and it sounds weird until you're like kind of inside and you see what they go through. It's not easy to be the opposition, right? Like even AOC, they shut her out for 2 years because she didn't get in line with the establishment. So if they see people like us support them, then they're more inclined to do so. And I do think we're moving some of these people that are quote unquote establishment into a more left progressive way. And I think that's important. And honestly, in some cases, they almost need us to give them permission to do it. And even with the Republicans, I think at some point they're going to say like, look, it's all wonderful, Mr. Trump, that you want what you want, but you're gone. You're bye-bye. I still have to like, you know, go back to my constituents. I still want to run again. And frankly, I'm not going to win if I keep on.
That's why they're trying to buy us off. Now.
Right.
With the $2,000 carrot, because that's going to cover your health care for all year, right?
Yeah.
$2,000, that'll do it, right?
Oh, that's all it was 2,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2,000 maybe next, but not this year. I mean, not next year, maybe the year after.
Oh, I see. Well, the good news is that even there's...
We're going to give people the money to spend on their own health care, but it's $2,000 and it's a one-time payment. How's that working for you? That's going to buy
it's
your
foolish.
health
It's
care?
ridiculous. I mean, it's clearly ridiculous. But
Of course not.
but the good news
And for the
is...
record, Matt's is going up over 200% January 1st.
Yeah.
His premium is going up over.
No, it's
200%.
it's extremely frustrating, but I think that you know, at the end of the day, it isn't even going to benefit at some point, and it's starting to already. It's not going to benefit the Republican Party to continue to go in lockstep with the MAGA side of it. Like, it's just not going to work because, you know,
I keep hoping for that, but they keep getting worse and they don't fall off. That's what scares me.
well, if you study,
I would say, let me qualify that.
Sure.
Now with the healthcare, we've seen a couple, but that's about it.
yeah, no, I hear you. But here's the thing, at least from a big picture, from a macro level, if you look at any of these autocracies, dictatorships, wannabe dictators, whatever they are, unfortunately, it's almost what you said. There's more when they're failing, when they're starting to collapse, they get crazier, they get more violent, they get more aggressive, because it's like they're holding on to the last bit. But this ship is sinking. I mean, if you look at, that's why they're dialing up the volume. They're not even calculated anymore about it. They're just, you know, so that's good. I mean, it sucks because in the short term it hurts, but it's a good sign.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be short-term pain for long-term gain. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I really do. We're coming up on an hour. Should we start to wind this one down, or?
I mean, yeah, we're at 53 and change.
Yeah, maybe we can get to that other video.
Do you want to show that other video? That would be interesting.
You want to do that now?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what it is.
I would like to have it if anybody's up for it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, yeah, we can do that. Maybe not the whole thing, but yeah, this is Dr. Oz on with Dana Bash on CNN.
The future of healthcare.
Welcome back to State of the Union. Republicans successfully ended the shutdown. Now comes a really hard part, figuring out what to do about healthcare costs when enhanced Obamacare subsidies expire on December 31st. Here with me now is one of the president's top medical advisors, the administrator for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Dr.
Hey, does he look like he's aged significantly since he's been in this job? He doesn't look like the same guy to me.
Yeah, not to mention it's kind of, you know.
Maybe it's too bright in there.
Maybe. I don't know. He used to kind of look like Jason Bateman a little bit. Now
I mean, evil kind of ages you.
That's true. Yeah, he might have had a Dorian Gray experience.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, let's see.
Dr. Mehmet Oz. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. The president said he will be willing to talk about these subsidies once the shutdown is over. The shutdown is over. So is he willing to extend the subsidies at all?
I think the president's willing to look at all options, but we have some major flaws with the way these COVID-era subsidies were added. And just so everyone's on the same page in this issue, our goal is...
What's that?
A non-answer.
Non-answer, yeah.
Oh, we're going to look at everything.
Well, he says something too pretty
He says a lot of
absurd coming up here.
Well,
to get people covered. Especially we want people covered who are trying to work. They're trying to climb their way up financially as they get jobs and evolve. How do you do it wisely? So the original Obamacare had fundamental flaws in it. For example, when you make more than 4 times poverty, there was not an ability to get continued enhanced subsidies. But there are other issues that were also present that the Democrats tried in early COVID to rectify by throwing money at it. The problem with the approach that was taken, and if it was a great approach, I actually think they would have made those changes permanent. The fact that they're designed to expire now is reflective of the fact that the current system is not the system that anyone really thought would work.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can we remember Trump was president when during the period of time he's talking about right now?
Right.
Early COVID. This is Trump, not Democrats.
Right. They never blame Trump.
No, that's true. They just pretend he wasn't there.
He was president during COVID.
Yeah.
It creates incentives for fraud. And I'll just give you one example because I keep reading about this in different contexts, but you can...
By the way, this is a common Republican talking point. Whenever any kind of government program or anything that they object to, they just start using that word fraud.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
You know, and of
Take
course,
away from everybody.
and the reality is, obviously, anything there's the potential for fraud. Nothing is ever perfect. Nothing
But here's
is ever.
the thing that's interesting too. If you're it's really like they lack foresight. If you're the people holding power, do you want to keep broadcasting that the government is unstable and
Right.
there's all this fraudulent activity? Because guess who's doing the fraudulent activity if you're the ones in power?
Right. Yeah, this is a good point.
That in a very straightforward way. Health insurance is different from other kinds of insurance. You don't want to use your fire insurance because you don't want your house burning down. Health insurance you tend to use every year. In fact, on average, 80% of people use their health insurance during the day. If you're watching right now, think about whether you filled a prescription, went to a doctor's office, you use your insurance. So let's say 20% of the time you don't use your insurance. That was also the number.
He literally just compared
Yeah.
fire insurance for your home to health care. And the problem is that you're using the health care.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
And
you have insurance that you're using. That's an issue.
But we want more people to be covered, but you're using it.
Yeah,
Don't
you're actually
use
using it. How dare you?
You're supposed to pay into premiums and never use it.
Yeah. And the crazy thing too about that is if you think of it in a broader sense, people using their health insurance, that's a good thing because using your health insurance might prevent having to spend even more money on your health long term.
Right.
Preventative medicine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's such an absurd thing. Well,
It's
people
all
are
silly.
actually using
It's all
their
silly. It's all ridiculous.
And it's like he's implying, I think he stopped short of actually saying it, but he mentioned fraud before. It's like he's implying that if you're using more health insurance, you're obviously using it fraudulently.
Oh, absolutely.
Just bizarre.
For the Obamacare exchanges. That number has now doubled.
Yeah.
Doubled. We have last year 24 million people on the exchanges. 11 million people never filed
So
a
I
claim.
hear you talking about how
Okay. Did you catch that?
What do you say?
That he's complaining because when Obamacare started the first exchange, there was only so many people on it. And now there's so many more people on it.
Oh,
Wait, we insured more people. And that's your complaint.
the
We did
horror.
exactly what we were trying to do. Get more people covered by health insurance. Have less underinsured and uninsured folks out there in the world. And now
Right.
he's complaining that it did just that.
Right.
Yeah.
Even from a cost
That's
benefit.
the problem. Now
yeah.
there's so many people on the marketplace.
Right. Even from a cost
Which
benefit.
makes a healthier pool.
Even
That's
from
basic 101 insurance.
Right. Not to mention that proactive treatments and preventative treatments are a heck of a lot cheaper
Yes.
than catastrophic treatments, emergency treatments, and
Insurance
serious
companies
terminal
will-
illnesses.
That's right.
Insurance companies won't let you have preventative care. They
But
won't
it's
give you
ridiculous. They're
15
stupid.
minutes with a doctor. He
Yeah.
doesn't have time to teach you anything because he's trying to pick up the pieces of what's broken because he didn't get to teach you anything. It's our whole healthcare system is
Oh, it's
geared
broken.
to give rich
Absolutely.
people more money at the expense of poor people's lives.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's hear more of his absurdity
Complicated
here.
it is, and there is potential for fraud. But the reality is time's ticking. And there are people who are really going to suffer because the system is the way it is, unless these are at least extended temporarily while you try to figure out a reform. Will that happen? Will you encourage the president to do that?
There are ways for us to continue to cover Americans without allowing the widespread fraud. And I don't want to underplay this. 4.4 million people right now, we believe, are getting full insurance coverage with the Obamacare. Many of them don't know they have that coverage. They're duly enrolled both in Medicaid and the ACA.
4.4 million?
This dually enrolled thing that he's talking about too.
Yeah,
This is the first time hearing of this. Are
And
there?
there are people who are dually eligible. You can be on Medicare and Medicaid. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
supplemental. It can be supplemental, right?
Right.
And you can have
But
like
that's exactly what it is. Just like SNAP is supplemental nutrition. These are supplemental things.
But he's
Correct.
making it sound like something fraudulent's going on here.
he's making it sound like people are double dipping.
Yeah.
Yes. And somehow that gets them money. Remember this.
Yeah.
They're teaching people that you are getting ripped off.
Yes.
Okay. You mean somebody went to the doctors more than once? Like how you're not getting money.
Yeah.
Nobody's handing somebody your neighbor who has Medicaid is not getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
They're getting to go to the doctor. They're getting to get an x-ray. They're getting to have surgery. They're
fun.
getting to have prescriptions. But that's it. There's no effing money. There's
Yeah.
no free ride of
Right.
anything like that. It's simply basic medical care. And it doesn't cover some things. Like, it's ridiculous. These people, and he'll continue to do it, to demonize people who are poor and
Mhm.
underinsured
Of course.
and struggling, and making it sound like there's some scam artist fraud who's getting a paycheck in the mail from the government every month.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And they're taking something away from you. That's the whole Republican talking
Yeah.
point summed up.
Meanwhile,
Somebody
they're
else
the
is
biggest
taking something from
fraudsters and
you.
criminals on the face of the earth right
Oh,
now.
he even gets worse than this.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There's more.
That it's the middle of November. Can you fix that in the next 5 weeks?
Well, we can definitely put in incentives to remove that as a possibility. I'll give you a good example. Get people to pay $5. $5. Is that too
What
much
does
to pay
that
a month?
matter?
Paying $5 a month means at least you have to opt into the program. You can't get falsely put on the program
What
by some
does
broker
$5
without
a
you
month
knowing.
have to do with the question she asked? Are you
Yeah.
going to do anything to prevent these tax credits, these subsidies from disappearing on January 4th? And with that, millions of people's health care.
Well,
Are you going to do anything? And can't you just pay? Again, back to poor people, the scapegoat. You're getting free Medicaid.
Except that
If
half
you
these-
paid
well-
$5, then everybody else can have a tax credit.
I guess, except that half these poor people voted against their best interests because they listened to this word salad. So,
Well, of course.
you know,
Yeah, Republicans love to vote against their own economic interests.
Well,
They
If we
They-
go back to
worshiping billionaires.
Shaheen,
It's crazy.
there's two videos of Shaheen do. I'm sorry, Matt, I stepped all over you.
No, what were you
there's-
saying about Shaheen?
Well, because Shaheen did that with constituents. She stood up there and said she had constituents coming to her, begging her to not vote, to hold out that they needed these healthcare subsidies. And she said that she was going to hold their feet down. And then in the next breath, she's in front of the camera saying she had to vote for it because she had constituents coming to her saying she had to. So we're her scapegoat for her
Right.
vote.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right,
well,
there's
I mean, there probably were. I mean, not that I'm defending her. I'm not at all. I hate how she voted, but I'm sure there were people that thought that that believe the Republicans and thought that holding off on SNAP, and all of that, because it did affect SNAP.
Yeah, it did.
Of course, it was the Republicans that made it affect SNAP.
Right.
And Republicans that were fighting in court to prevent the funding of it.
Right.
And then further trying to force New Hampshire to claw the money back
Oh yeah.
Right.
that New
Yeah.
Hampshire had given to people for the month
Yeah.
of November.
Right. Right.
All right. All right. There's a little more
There are
here.
conversations about doing things like you just said with the Republicans in Congress, maybe even with Democrats, in order to get these subsidies at least extended in the short term?
There There are discussions around extending the subsidies if we deal with the fraud, waste, and abuse that right now is paralyzed in the system. There are ways of using our money wisely by putting it in the pockets of Americans. There are things we actually put into the One Big Beautiful Bill, like these CSRs, which are these cost-saving reduction tools that make insurance more efficient. That would have saved us a lot of money that the Democrats took out. So there are already ideas we've put out there. We would have saved 10% on premiums if we'd allowed these CSRs to be enacted in the One Big Beautiful Bill.
I don't even know anything. Do either of you know anything about these CSRs? I don't even know what that is. This is the first I'm hearing of
It's
it.
just a bunch of mumbo jumbo bullshit for the
That's what I
excuses of
figured.
what they
It's
put
credits.
in there. Basically,
It's the healthcare credits.
It's just
Oh,
he's just spewing nothing. He's
yeah.
spewing nothing. What he's not talking about is the over 5% increase that the Trump administration and Republicans just gave to every insurance company for Medicare tax dollars, from our tax dollars. They have been given to administer Medicare Advantage and plans like that. They're reaping profits. For example, United Healthcare is the third largest company in the United States, period. Not just healthcare, period. That's how much money they make. They make over 400, what was it? Excuse me. Scratch that. They make over $8 billion with a B dollars every 3 months in profit before this raise. But that's not enough for them. They need more. So the Trump administration and all these lovely little bills, waste, fraud, and abuse. Waste, fraud, and abuse. You just gave Medicare tax dollars, one could say maybe the biggest raise ever,
Yeah.
to these insurance companies, and you nickel and dime us, and you won't let us have tax credits. You're letting Americans go up, like you, Matt, over 200% increase in your premium. And that has to do with waste, fraud, and abuse? Really? Are you buying that?
So right. So I don't think we're ever going to. I mean, in summation, these people. This is what I call the 20% write-off, right? Like these people. I'm not trying to convince Oz of anything. Anybody in his cabinet, I could care less. Like these are not the people I'm ever going to sit down at the table with and try to negotiate with and try to talk to. Is my what I'd ideally like to do is get things moving forward. Get certainly the independents, maybe some of the people that like held their nose and voted for Trump, all of this, like to come to my side as well. Not put me in personally anyway, but not put people that I support in as Democrats, put them in as change makers and as people that are going to move the needle and that didn't come from politics, actually got into this fight because they wanted to force the change, not because, they happen to be there already. And then, and then hold these people accountable, because at the end of the day, these people are ripping us off. They're ripping regardless, and they don't care if you're red, blue, or purple, whatever you are.
Percenters. They're all the really uber rich who don't live in our world. Oz does not live in our world.
No.
You and I live in a world,
and they're all losers.
They don't face what we face. They don't.
But here's the thing.
Going to the grocery store and having enough money at the checkout line. Because if they don't have enough money, they just take it from us.
Right. But here's the thing that's very interesting is that, like, we just have to get to the point where, because these people are really inefficient and they don't have, like, I mean, look at Hegseth, look at all of them. We can go on another show and talk about this, but they're all incompetent. They're all like, none of them are good at their jobs. None of them, if it was on real merit, their resumes wouldn't even make it probably past the first level. So they're all in office because there's some basically mobster, pyramid scam, snake oil salesman that's running the country, and he employed all his cronies. It's like a mafia. It's a low end mafia.
And it's the B team, because most of the people from the first administration wouldn't come back or couldn't come back because many of them are in jail.
Right.
Yeah.
He's afraid of people with real skill and real talent.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
We just have to continuously shine a light on this and make sure that the public is aware that this is what Dr. Oz, the administrator for CMS, is saying they're going to do with our health care.
But I think
if we don't do anything about it now.
But I think the bigger thing we need to do is just come up with solutions and enact those solutions. Because I think at the end of the day, especially the ones that voted red, they're low information people. They're not interested in getting involved in all of this. And so let's give them what they want. Let's give them a better, quality of life. Let's give everybody a reasonable quality of life, and then let's move on. Like, I just don't think it's like, and ideally, let's put some of these people on trial
Yeah.
because they're criminals.
I hope that there will be a reckoning someday for all of the damage and all of the lives that are being lost because
Right,
of all
right.
of this.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And that, if anything, this country needs to learn that we got to rein in the abilities of executive orders.
Absolutely.
I've never liked them. I've never been a fan. But now is even more to say that maybe this is a power we shouldn't allow the president to have, no matter who's in that office.
I would definitely have to minimize it for sure. I mean, there definitely needs to be more checks and balances. I mean, God forbid, I think we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to make constitutional amendments.
See, there's supposed to be checks and
Right, there are.
balances, and Congress and the Senate and everything are supposed to
Right.
be upholding that,
Yep.
but we're not going to anymore. We don't
Right.
actually, I should say, we don't have that anymore because the people who are violating it aren't being held to task. They're just getting away with running over everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we have all the thing that people don't realize, though, because this is what I mean. We don't want to get caught up in the doom and gloom either. None of these things have gone away. We still have these things. It's just a matter of enforcing these things. So it really does come down to accountability, and it comes down to any of us that are able, in either small ways or large ways, to hold these people accountable,
Yep.
to insist they are accountable. And it
And
also,
unfortunately, right now, they're
Right.
voting the wrong way.
if you don't like how they vote, primary them out. I mean, I am
Yeah.
totally for that.
Yeah.
And we have to start doing that across the board. This like fealty to like a party simply because they're of our party, if they're
Yeah.
not doing their job, has to go away.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I think on that note, that's probably a good place to put a pin in this one. Episode 11, hanging left. I'd love to do this more often if
Absolutely. This was
schedules
really
permit.
fiery and great.
Absolutely. Anything we didn't mention? I mean, Todd, you probably want to remind us where people can go to learn more about Sarah's campaign, right?
Yeah, go to sarahc603.com and there's everything there. We just revamped the website. It's really beautiful. There's even a section that says Ask Me. So, we're running a little bit lean of a team right now, but that's okay. We're going to get on that because it really is all about, like, right in the front, it says, people over politics, power, people over power, people over whatever, any of the terms you can think of. I'm not
I'm
looking at it.
definitely a big fan, and you
Yeah.
got my vote in the primary.
No, me too. Because I think that, the importance about Sarah is that there's a lot of people, even a lot of our, people running against us. They're very good. I wouldn't say any of them are bad people. They're all good people. They
Sure.
all mean well. What?
They're just all variations. You just
Right.
gotta keep
All
the formula
variations. But
consistent.
here's the thing that honestly, what this whole podcast has been about. Sarah has the key to the city. Sarah has options to go into these doors and talk to these people. And in some cases, especially like in international relations, she has the numbers of these people that have been kicked out of their positions that still talk to her on a daily basis that we are going to need to build back the soft power and do
Big
these
time.
things. That some of her opponents, they're going to be like, thanks, but no thanks. I don't know who you are.
Right.
Because I'm sure they're like,
Yeah.
they don't.
Well, that's
This
the
is-
difference between a politician and a statesman.
Right, correct. And that's what we need right now is statespeople and also people with some experience and the ability to get things done.
Todd, I have a question too. Put you
Yeah.
on the spot a little bit, but have you seen the clip of Jenny on the John Oliver show?
I have not.
last
That's
week
awesome.
tonight? Yeah.
We'll have to check that out.
We're
Yeah.
over 4 million views now.
Nice.
Yep,
Congratulations, Jenny.
Yep.
Yeah, send me that link. Absolutely.
A lot of good folks in it, and I will tell you, it is the most comprehensive and best report I have ever seen on Medicare Advantage. They truly listened to us. I
Nice.
spent hours on the phone. I spent hours on the phone with the producer, and they really,
That is
really
awesome.
wanted to know everything. And they presented the best descriptor I've ever seen. I highly encourage you to see it. I highly encourage you to share it with other people. Especially
Absolutely.
while we're in open enrollment. Even if you've already picked, you can still change it.
I'll
You
tell you what,
can
we'll
still
check
change
it out. And
So
if
definitely do that.
right. And I think that, as long as Sarah's okay with it, we could even share it on our social media pages.
Oh, excellent.
As long as it's, which I don't think
We're
would be a
just
problem.
warning
but-
people of the risks of getting a Medicare Advantage plan and what can happen. It just quickly, in my case, they were talking about how I was a Dana-Farber patient for like a decade, and then suddenly The doctor network, but the building wasn't. Even though the No Surprises Act passed, there's still a loophole that they go through, and Medicare Advantage jumps right through it, preventing people
Wow.
from New Hampshire from going to arguably one of the best cancer institutes in the nation, Dana-Farber.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, very good. Very good. All right. So we'll end on that note. Thank you to everyone who joined us for the live
Thank you so
stream.
much, guys.
And of course, if you get the show in the podcast forum, make sure you subscribe to Hanging Left on your podcast platform of choice. And Todd, thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
And thank you,
Sheila.
Jenny. And
Bye-bye.
thanks, everybody. And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.